Good evening. You're listening to the Xtreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rob, broadcasting to you from the Pinellas Palace, just west of Orlando, Florida. I am in the Xtreme Studios. I have the young 20-something Professor Pixel here with me, and tonight we're going to be continuing our coverage. I believe this is the 5th episode of Season 2, or the 12th of Season 1, The Red-Headed League, as it were, the Sherlock Holmes TV series from Granada Television from 1984, starring Jeremy Brett. So, Pixel, I'd mentioned last week when we were talking about The Resident's Patient, how there were certain selections of different authors that you would get when you go through high school in your world literature type classes. And for the English section, you'd always have a couple Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's. For some reason, still don't know why to this day, although this is a very fun episode, they always seem to point out the Red-Headed League. Don't know why, but it's there. What's your take, sir, on this? I know it's a first watch for you.
Oh, I love it. I'm not even going to hide it. I love it. There's no slow lead in. This is absolutely a fantastic episode. Right from our little opening gambit here. Take us outside, street of London. We see a carriage that goes ahead and has people that are locking themselves in. Why? Because they are delivering something important. And they have a bank statement in there that is handed right to them. They go ahead, they make their delivery, but the statement drops. A gentleman notices and picks it up, and he takes it into a building to a fine-dressed man. We're able to tell just from how his sleeves are. We don't see much else. He has a letter opener right there, ready to go ahead and open up the statement, taking a look. What could have been delivered to the bank?
Yeah, it's a beautiful letter opener, too. I don't know if that's ivory or what, but it looks fantastic, even if it's a prop piece. And he cuts away from him, and it's a silver handle thing. This is very elegant, sir.
He also has, if you notice, his nails are sharp.
But you look at everybody's hands here. They're all manicured. They're absolutely right, too. He's got hand stitching on his cuffs. Everybody dresses so fantastic in the show. It's incredible. I'm sorry I interrupted you, sir.
Yes, but especially this gentleman. But then we cut to someone who does not really fit that description. Our
Ginger alert.
Yes, Jabez Wilson. Yes, he is waiting in the offices of Sherlock Holmes, and really we just get a few moments just looking at him as he's waiting to recount his tale, and there's a glee to this. Sherlock is ready to hear about this individual.
You know how you know this, though? Because before he even talks, when Watson leaves and goes to come back, he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're with a client." He's like, "Watson!" And he jumps over it, too. And we've seen him in a fist fight already. We've seen him with a little judo stuff here and all that. I don't know if he snorted a few lines already or whatever, but he's coked up and ready to go.
Yes. And what is shown? Watson is handed a paper from Jabez, and it has an advertisement. One that he noticed from forever ago. It was from April, my bad. Whenever month it is in this story now. And it is for the Red-Headed League, looking for a gentleman over 21 with fine red hair for a job. Like, what is it? For something a day, for a week, which at that point it's good earning. And Jabez starts the tale from the beginning. This advertisement was pointed out to him by his assistant. His assistant that's underpaid, but is willing to do the work to learn the trade, so he says.
Well, that's how things. The whole thing of middle class, the separation of wealth, actually started existing around this time, industrialized wise. And it's interesting because I've mentioned before the role of different classes here too, and we've already saw before with when we met Mycroft Holmes, and I forget the name of the special group that they were in there too. You could have separation of classes and all that too. So the whole system of learning a trade by being grossly underpaid for it, and then maybe rising up the ranks or starting your own business. A lot of this is where it comes from. So it's not that bad. However, you would not know that by today's standards, so that why you automatically think, oh, he's evil because he's a rich guy. You know, he stole it off the back and sweat labor of somebody smaller. But I don't know. There is something enticing, entangling into this because this offer is too good to be true for this ginger.
Yes. But no, he says he's nice enough. Everything about that. But Vincent Spaulding, that's the name he goes by, the assistant pointed out and says, actually, sir, you know, you would be a perfect candidate. So he not only agrees to go ahead and see if the job is real, but they go to the place. It is filled with gingers.
Nothing but gingers.
So many gingers.
And you know what? This guy is rocking. This is a B plus comb over. I mean, it's authentic. This is no wig or whatever like that. I mean, it's not even like short in his face. It's really long and all the way to the side. I'm like, holy crap, he's got that left-handed part going on. Incredible. And of course, the contract thingy for the job here's got the real fancy manuscript type on there, the red-headed leak. Because you know, every time we see somebody write in here, it's those ink pens. Doesn't that make you want to write in one?
My handwriting is atrocious, so no. But yeah, no. When we go back to the scene, Spaulding is leading Mr. Wilson through the halls, passing the line, and nobody's really stopping him. Like, he gets the odd complaint from the gingers in line, but they go right to the door, and this is Mr. Wilson, and hello, Mr. Wilson, come on in. And at once, the man that is running it, what is it, Duncan Ross, he said, oh, well, come in, yes, you are perfect. And he does a pull of his hair. Sorry, sir, we had to make sure it's real. You are the man for the job at once. There's no question. And the job, the Red-Headed League, set it up by some wealthy man in America to go ahead to help the gingers of the world.
Mm-hmm. That was not meant as a slight.
Yeah. And their job is going to be writing through an encyclopedia. This red encyclopedia that he's going to be just
it's red, of course.
Paper. He has to buy his own paper and pen and everything. But yep, that's the job. And you know what? He goes in every day for a couple months, and that's what he does. And it pays, so he doesn't complain.
Until
one day, he goes to show up for work. I have to pause, though, because you get this gentleman saying that, like, oh, well, I was learning about all sorts of things. And he keeps going, and it's all in alphabetical order with the letter A, because it's going through the encyclopedia. And then it is one day he goes there. The Red-Headed League has been dissolved.
Out of nowhere.
Down the hall, and he's asking, oh, what happened to him? Oh, well, yes, he moved to a new residence. What is it? And he pokes his head inside. He gives it to him, and he goes to the place. And what does he find? He finds a Burke and Son manufacturing of artificial kneecaps.
Love it. I love it. You're right now at this point, and I gotta say this in all seriousness here as we're getting through it. Besides the fact that they're laughing their ass off too, like this is a joke, right? Here's the thing with humor. It's not an incredibly, it seems like, serious episode at the beginning.
No.
And the point is we'll see if that continues, because that can distract you from something. Much as we said in the episode last week, or at least I did, the almost occultish, like dark beginning dream sequence. I'm not particularly considerate of with what we've seen so far out of the Jeremy Brett portrayal of Sherlock Holmes in these 10, 12 episodes so far. It's a little different. It makes sense at the end that it was massive foreshadowing, which we normally don't get that type of story delivery when we're watching this episode. That's why I had mixed feelings about it, although I did like the cynical ending as opposed to you. Here we have almost completely the opposite, don't we? We have a somewhat lighthearted, amusing, cute, okay, maybe this is going to be an adventure, because again, from the very opening shot, we see a guy reading a paper on a street scene with the daily activity going by, but you see his eyes move around. You can tell he's not really reading, he's watching something. And then you see, like you say, something that almost seems like by chance, this statement that turns out to be a bank one, important, that falls and a guy picks it up and stuff. So it seems like a lot of incidental, unconnected accidents of human behavior being put together. At this point where Watson and Sherlock are laughing at him, and we haven't really seen them laugh at a client yet. Usually they take him very seriously for the most part. This is a lot of fun right now. Yes.
The best part is, though, halfway through the story, where Watson is starting to lose it, but Sherlock gives him like a glare, like, no, hold it in.
Yeah, exactly.
But when they burst out laughing at the end, and you have whatever his name is, Jabez, Mr. Wilson, like, I don't find this funny at all. I didn't think I was going to be laughed at. And Sherlock says, no, sir. I want this case. I want this case more than anything. But then he asks just a few more questions before Mr. Jabez goes and leaves. And actually, this is the first time we get a client asking about the fee, and Sherlock is like, oh, I don't think you'll have to worry about that. I have a feeling we will be paid elsewhere. And he then, Watson is like, okay, what do you make of it? What do we need? And Sherlock says, I need 15 minutes of complete silence. And that's what he gets. He sits there. Watson nods off. But at the end, he's got it. He sits right up, leaps from his chair, and leads Watson along. They go outside. They check the store because Wilson's going away for the weekend. But they go by the store. He walks up to the assistant, and Sherlock at once is like, "Yes, no, absolutely. But can you tell me where so and so is?" And gets an answer, and it goes all of a sudden into like spy mode because he's trying to get the surroundings, and he feels like eyes are upon him somehow. And at once, no, I shouldn't say at once, because they do agree to one thing: to go ahead for a concert in the evening.
Yeah. The fact that they're doing the spy mode thing, I love it. I always told you I love eating and food and stuff like that. In TV shows, acting, just sitting there and letting your face tell a story is difficult enough, but it seems a little easier and more realistic sometimes when you have something to work with, like lighting a cigarette's always magical on screen. I don't care what anybody says. And of course, food. And again, it's a visual medium right here too. So the fact that, again, talking about classes and society and money and bankers in the last episode or whatever here too, I like how he goes from one thing completely to another. And it's like, well, is he just being stupid? Is he being artsy fartsy? Is he being whatever? We're going to go see this. And again, comedy wise, like I mentioned before, it's one thing to kind of make light of something and use it as a distracting thing too. Here, does it relate to the story? Because if not, then you start getting indulgent and then you start going, man, these writers suck, but is it there? So they're listening to Partita in E major by Johann Sebastian Bach, along with his Nocturne and some other piece or whatever I'm thinking. So I thought it was interesting because you get a quick transition from when they're, doing the spy work to, you got the piece of the hat and the leather gloves, and that you would see, because back then people would dress up to go out, unlike today for the most part. So I thought that was neat. So again, there's something about TV shows, especially period pieces, that show how things, and again, I don't know how authentic it is, but again, since most of the stuff was shot around Liverpool and the whole that area too, Manchester area, it seems like it has that feel. It has that voodoo of the atmosphere of the area with the lighting and all that too. It's a lot of fun because we're getting close to 2 acts in and we don't know it, but it gets real for me when we're not watching the violinist go through his really quirky, fast display on all that stuff. It's when they start pulling out the maps, so that I'm like, it's on. This is good.
Yep. I love the line. Watson, you have a promising career as a cartographer. He has... Okay. This gentleman that is supposed to be from Scotland Yard, he's quite an idiot, but he will get us connected.
He's an absolute
nice.
imbecile. But he has the tenacity of a lobster. I wrote that down. I know.
But they go ahead, they invite the bank teller in, and he says, well, he believes that something is going to happen. So they are led down into the vaults underground. And this guy, old, grouchy, I've been disturbed this evening. Why is this happening? But they go ahead down and they wait. They dim the lights, and this you get to hear like constant hitting underneath, and as he like listens into the walls, and finally floor tile breaks and opens up, arm reaching through, and out climbs the assistant and another gentleman. And at once, lights on, and hold it right there. The other guy goes ahead and does a runner, but they have police stationed outside of the shop. And they go ahead, they catch the gentleman. This Vincent Spaulding is actually a criminal, John Clay, that they know about. And the way his demeanor has like completely changed. He hasn't had many lines, but it is astonishing. You will not put your hands on me. You will address me as sir. And it's like ridiculous, but it's great, and it's all because there's French gold that the bank is currently housing. It is. I love it. I really do love it. You after they go ahead, they take the guy away. You have the bank manager just running there. Mr. Holmes, this is the most shocking thing I've seen. I cannot thank you enough. And Sherlock gives like we do have a fee because we've been inconvenienced that I'm sure that you will pay. And yes, of course. And Sherlock knows at once there's a mastermind behind this plan. This episode has taken a complete shift.
Exactly.
It's amusing. It is
exactly
amusing at the beginning, but as soon as the gentleman is left and he has had that 50 minutes to sit there, this is a serious, hard case. And
yes.
I love it. God.
Yes, it is good. I'm suggesting that it bears all the hallmarks of Professor Moriarty. I mean, it's like he's got the black outfit on and he's against the white tiled underneath there too with the dark shadows on it too. So it's like, a mugshot almost there too. And his delivery, like you say, it goes from them laughing and cracking up with the ginger and all that stuff to like you say, sitting there. And that's when the switch is flipped. It's like there's something really interesting going on, and it's all this unrelated stuff coming together. And who could do that? Only but the mind of Moriarty here too. But when it suggests and it bears all the hallmarks of Moriarty, you're like, Watson's like, Moriarty. You're like, yes, Moriarty. And it's people are like, well, we don't really know who he is, but we think Sherlock might or whatever. And it's interesting because as they're showing this, they pull away so you can see all four, but you see him in the back and all that too. And it's he goes on to say he's a man of good birth, excellent education, but was he got the mind of, was it Stalin, Satan, whatever it was, and all that? He has hereditary tendencies of the most, and they can't just say he's evil fucker. He has to say his own tendencies of the most diabolical kind. A criminal strain runs in his blood. And it's like, okay, you're hyping him up, you're talking him up because of, it's one thing to talk somebody up, but it's the way people react emotionally about somebody that gives them a rub before they make a big appearance. And we haven't really seen Moriarty a lot up to this point. And for people that don't know about Sherlock Holmes, he has a smarter older brother that we saw in an earlier episode, Mycroft. And of course, he has a criminal foil, Moriarty that will become more into play a little bit later on in the canon that is Sherlock Holmes here too. But yeah, basically, talking about how there was a couple episodes earlier, I think in season 1 we were talking about where he makes a diatribe. I think they're on a train and he says something to Watson along the lines of, hey, there's nothing worse than somebody that's really smart that ends up basically doing that stuff for evil, and that it's just in society today can kind of go undisguised and uncovered. Because again, if you're a criminal, you got caught, you'd get killed, you get punished. It was pretty simple justice, right? Now with laws and regulations and all that, you can have people like Jack the Ripper that would could show up and hide in the daily world with people. There were smart type of killers rather than thugs. And I think Sherlock here is basically saying that Moriarty is a smart type. I'm not saying he's a killer, but he is psychotic in his own regard here too. So we get this first real sense of what I would call not danger for a client, but just that there's evil out there, and it's got the human form of this person, Moriarty. I really love his delivery here. You're right. It totally changes script here, doesn't it? It's a great way to kind of finish up this little last part of this episode. I think it's tremendous. It's one of the best singular bits in all the episodes I think we've seen so far.
Yep. And we get just a touch. The scene with Moriarty saying that, I think Mr. Holmes stopped 2 of my ventures before. This was a third. This was the last. And after that, we get Watson and Sherlock outside. They're going home. And who's watching them from across the street with this grave look but Professor Moriarty? And that is the end of our tale, leading us into next week.
I will tell you that out of all the shots that kind of stick with me from television shows and all that, just the way Moriarty looks telling the guy about how he's been inconvenienced a couple times by Sherlock and all that too, and then Moriarty just watching him, and he looks like just kind of like an older middle-aged kind of guy there, maybe a little weathered in the face and all that. This is as good as it gets. It's absolutely fantastic to me. I mean, there's been shots like in Halloween by John Carpenter in the 70s where you see Michael Myers in the background, and if you have watched the film a million times like I have, or you've watched the backstage stuff, when you rewatch it, sometimes you go, oh, I didn't realize he was in the car here while the sheriff is talking and he's turning around, or, oh, I didn't realize he was there, and all that too. So I'm not saying this is a ripoff of it, but the fact that, like, it's only now that Sherlock has kind of gotten a taste or whiff of that Moriarty exists like this, and that we're being made aware of it, but the way that Moriarty's already onto him, fantastic. It is a phenomenal episode. I mean, it's tremendous. It's better than a read as far as I'm concerned. This is one of those few things where it's better than the actual text, and this definitely delivers. Home run episode.
Yep. I love it. I'm very excited for next week. The final problem.
Moriarty looks like a guy you just can't fuck with. He's got that age and on all that too, and the hand stencil at the end that they like to do at the end of these episodes and all that. Phenomenal.
Yes, I am very, very excited to go ahead into next week. I'm very glad we watched this episode. This entire series has been a delight, and I will go ahead and save my thoughts for next week's final episode.
Yes, the final problem. Be a great one there to talk about here on the Xtreme Movie Show. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Good night now.
This was a Sir Arthur